Welcome, everybody. This is a special episode of SENS Talk. We are waiting now. I'm watching Sportsnet. Tim and Sid will lower that. We are currently watching. We're waiting for the National Hockey League's announcement for the return to play phase number 2, where we're likely to hear the 2014 playoff format. As well, we're going to likely hear about the draft lottery and how that affects Ottawa Senators, Detroit Red Wings, of course, other teams in the bottom as well. I'm going to give my analysis and everything. But before we get into it, a couple of channel notes and podcast notes. So at 8:30 tonight Eastern Time, we will be uploading an episode with top AHL reporter Patrick Williams. That should be up at 8:30. It's about an hour episode of the Best of 7 podcast, episode number 10. Therefore, I'm looking really forward to uploading that. It was a great conversation. And, it was recorded before today's announcement, but we did really dive into a lot of AHL hot topics. Now, our moderator and SENS Talk alumni and Best of 7 podcast co-host Noah Luden says, not going to lie, the hat is kind of whack. Yeah, I'm wearing it because I'm waving the white flag because I just want hockey back. I'm surrendering. I'm enough. No more complaining. Just give me hockey back. As long as it's safe for all the players involved. Because, I've seen a lot of things. You look at, Max Domi, for example, with the Habs getting 12th and playing Pittsburgh. Well, Max Domi play. He has diabetes, and that means he's high risk for this disease, right? So if Max Domi didn't play, which I don't think he should, if he didn't play, well, other players follow suit. There's players that are, recovering from cancer. They have asthma. There are players that have medical conditions that will likely force them not to play. So we'll stay tuned for that. But right now, I'm just going to tweet out the link so we can get more of the family to join the live stream. Also, it's kind of funny seeing, I don't know if you all noticed, but watching this live stream, not live stream, but Tim and Sid, it's the first time I've watched it since really the pandemic has started. And their basements are pretty cool. I'm kind of jealous. I'm not going to lie. They got a nice man cave going on there. All right. I'm just going to tweet this out. Comment down below what your opinions are on the proposed or rumors. I'll react. Bruce Garriock, thanks, Noah. Bruce Garriock just tweeted now. Draft lottery, like I reported before, will be on June 26th. Now, there's also reports, according to the friend of the show, Sense Chirp, a big-time blogger for the Ottawa Senators. He said there is speculation that the draft will be 2 separate drafts, one for the top 7, and then the other will be for the top 8 teams that fall out of the play-in round. We'll see. A lot of speculation. Right now, I'm going to get some water because I am dying of thirst. One sec. All right. I am back. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. A little nervous about this announcement. Bruce just says he does not believe there's a actual date announced for the draft yet, but he could be wrong. But right now, there's no date yet. I'm going to get the comments in the section right now. I'm just tweeting out the link. Get more of the family here. Thank you, everyone, for watching, by the way, and joining. This should be a fun episode, little live stream. Hockey might be back, right? So let's get a little excited, All right, let's tweet this out. Also, let me know in the comments section, the live chat, whatever, if you have enjoyed the Best of 7 podcast. And if you haven't, make sure to check it out. It's been phenomenal. Where Noah and I, and of course, producer Giordano Ladisa are pumping out content for y'all, so you can get your sports fix, even though there's no sports going on except Bundesliga. I will selfishly take this moment as we have the eyes, I think, and ears of a lot of people to just say Tim and I have. Yeah, it's supposed to start any second now. So we shall wait. All right, tweeting now. At @sensoc_. If you don't follow me on Twitter. All right. Hashtag Sens. Hashtag go Sens go. This is the life of Sense Talk, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of tweeting, a lot of tweeting. After I'll give you all a little bit of a sneak peek of what I do after every video before this announcement starts. While we're just talking, every single Sense Talk video, I've been doing videos for the last 7-8 years, right? So it takes me about 35 to an hour to edit and record. and then it's before that, it's 20 minutes to just get the game prep, and then on top of that, then you got to upload another 25, and then you got to share it. That takes an hour to share it all over social media like I do. So it's an hour, 2 hours of Sens talk a night, plus 2.5 hour, 3 hour live tweeting of the game. So let me tell you, I'm dedicated, and I'm happy to be dedicated. I love this, but it ain't easy. It ain't easy, but I'm very thankful for Noah and Giordano with the podcast. They really helped me out with the script writing and, of course, producing and editing. Giordano's doing a great job, so I'm very thankful. Let's get to some of the comments here. The 404, I hope we get hockey soon. Amen. Jeff Myra, I'm excited for hockey, even if it's a bit different for precautionary reasons. I would expect a full face shield, something like that. That would make sense to me. But, of course, I'm not a health expert. I am just a sports analyst or blogger, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see. But full face shields wouldn't make sense to me. Nick Susi, it's so hype. I agree. I'm excited for some hockey. I'm shocked with all the what do you call it? Gary, announcement starting.
To announce the National Hockey League's plan for our resumption.
Potentially asterisk here, Don. Yes.
Of the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs.
Let me know if you can hear it.
How we will conduct the 2020
Let me know if you can hear it.
NHL draft lottery. Before I get into the details,
health and safety are paramount. First point.
That the health and safety of our players, coaches,
can y'all hear it? Let me know.
Our communities
I'll make it louder.
Paramount. While nothing is without risk, ensuring health and safety has been central to all of our planning so far and will remain so.
Okay, perfect. Turn it up a bit.
Let me assure you that the reason we are doing this
it's on Sportsnet and NBC and NHLnetwork.com, I believe.
That they want us to complete the season, if at all possible. And our players and our team.
Okay, flags it goes, ladies and gentlemen.
They want to play and bring the season to its rightful conclusion.
Jeff Myra, I appreciate the work you do for fellow Sens fans or just fans in general. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Appreciate it.
Until we are assured by medical professionals and the relevant government authorities that it is safe and prudent.
Hockey will not return until authorities say it's safe.
Executive Director Don Fear.
It looks like.
Special Assistant to the Executive Director Matthew Snyder, and all members of the NHL Players Association, particularly players Ron Hainsey.
Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen before it happens. Have some conversation.
Who were part of our joint return to play committee. It took a great deal of collaborative effort to get where we are today, and their input.
Definitely not Terry McCarr. Definitely not.
And its traditions were essential to the process that produced the plan I'll now outline.
I think so too, Doug.
I also want to thank Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly. And
2 hub cities announced. 1 city per conference will be announced at a later date, though, according to Murray Pam on Twitter.
The NHL Board of Governors, who once again put aside personal preferences to approve a plan that we believe is fair to all of the teams and our best option under the circumstances.
According to Frank Cervelli, don't believe decision coming today on hub cities. However, he's hearing 10 teams still running in the running to be a hub city. Include Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Edmonton, Las Vegas, LA, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Toronto, and of course Vancouver. All right, here's the plan. 24 clubs will resume play. First.
Authorities is given. 24 of our 31 teams
make it a little louder.
Will resume play.
24 of 31, as we know. Top 12 in each conference by points percentage at pause of March 12th.
Standings as they stood through the games,
which would have been the last game the Sens played against LA, game 71. Can't show the TV Chris Brading, it's copyright.
The remaining 7 teams will enter the draft lottery, which I will discuss in detail later.
He said he'll discuss the draft lottery later. Top 7 teams will enter the draft lottery. So I don't know what he means by that. Maybe it's a separate draft, like Sandstrip said. But he is saying now that regular season is complete now. It's done.
We will resume play and conduct the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs in 2 hub cities that will be identified
so Murray Pam was right.
At a later date.
2 hub cities
One will be the
announced at later dates.
Resuming 8 Eastern Conference clubs. The other will play host to the resuming Western Conference clubs.
So for each conference.
Each will have secure arenas, practice facilities, hotels, and local transportation for our players.
Saif Ali Khan, I think so. I think that would be better for Ottawa, better odds, but we'll see what they officially lay out.
50 personnel.
So 50 personnel in Hub City, small number of support staff permitted in event arenas, so event areas. So
the event level.
It's not going to be the whole team. It's going to be essential staff.
System of testing.
Going to be a lot of testing.
In place in each hub city. We are currently in phase 1 of our pause, during which clubs have been instructed to self-isolate as much as possible.
So based off the wording of the regular season being done, my question in the episode tonight with Patrick Williams of the Best of 7 podcast, one of the questions were, would this play-in count for regular season? It doesn't look like it. Early June, in phase 2, clubs return to home facilities for voluntary small group on and off ice training. So that's early June. We'll see small groups of training. Phase 3, formal training camp no earlier than July 1st.
Formal training camps. The timing of our entry into
so hockey will not be returning until at least July.
By guidance from medical and
makes sense.
Authorities.
And they have to wait for authority permission as well.
As soon as possible. We don't envision doing so before the first half of July.
They don't expect any hockey before the first half of July. Phase 4, as he's outlining here.
Participating clubs will report to their respective hub cities, and we will resume play. Obviously, we anticipate playing
time and sites to be determined.
At this time,
right now I just want to see the lottery
because the schedule of our return to play
made it a little louder for you.
Both by developing circumstances and the needs of our players. For various reasons, we are also not announcing at this time which 2 cities will serve as our hubs. Things are evolving rapidly, and when we decide on locations, we want it to be on the best available information at the time.
What do y'all think? Let me know. Comment below. In the live chat.
In the meantime, I can say...
Okay, so that confirms Frank Cervelli. So hub cities under consideration officially are Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Edmonton, Las Vegas, LA, Minnie, St. Paul, Pittsburgh, Toronto, and Vancouver.
Pittsburgh, Toronto, and Vancouver.
Yeah.
There are no shortage of candidates that can help us do this. Again, the final determination... Yeah,
Noah Luna has a good point. Training camp usually takes 3 weeks, so don't expect hockey before August. That's also a fair point. They also outlined that they want hockey before the end of July, so we'll see. A lot of things are changing.
Automatic berths in the first round of the
conferences are based off of points percentage.
Conference round robins, each playing the other 3 teams to determine their respective seeds in the first round.
Round robin, top 4 teams play for first round seeding, regular season overtime,
and shootout rules, with ties in the final standings broken by regular season points percentage. The remaining 8 teams in each conference will play in best of 5 qualifying round series to determine which 4 in each conference advance to the first round of the playoffs. The matchups for these series, again, are based on points percentage at the time of the pause. These games will be played with playoff overtime rules.
So the qualifying round games will have playoff overtime rules. So it's a playoff, essentially, which is why this pisses me off for the draft lottery. Because it's essentially a playoff, so teams essentially get a playoff and a chance at first overall. Makes no sense. If I'm not mistaken.
One of the round robin teams.
Qualifying round winners play top seeds in first round. So yeah, you either go play in the playoffs, in the qualifying round, which is the playoffs, or you get first potential at first overall. Makes no sense.
Still discussing whether to determine them through seeding or via a bracket. In addition, the return.
You can hear Joe Latino perfect.
Is still discussing the lengths of the first and second round series and whether the second round matchups will be determined through seeding or via bracket. In any scenario, the conference finals and Stanley Cup final will be best of 7. The sites of the conference finals and Stanley Cup final remain to be determined, although based on what we know today, we expect those series to be played in one of the 2 hub cities. We believe we can get the qualifying and first 2 rounds of the playoffs completed in a little over a month. Here are the 12 teams that will be resuming play in the Eastern Conference.
Montreal, 500. 500. This just got in there. Oof. Boston, Tampa, Washington, Philly, Pittsburgh, Carolina, New York Islanders, Toronto, Columbus, Florida, Rangers, and Montreal. That's the order through 1 through 12.
Conference and assigned to Hub City 2.
In City 2, it's St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, Dallas, Edmonton, Nashville, Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, Minnie, Arizona, Chicago. That's the rankings. Round robin for seeding in the East.
Who will play round robin games to determine their playoff seeding are the Boston Bruins, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Washington Capitals, and the Philadelphia.
Philly had a late surge. They just surged right in there. Lucky for them.
Round series matchups in the Eastern
No, Luden, completely agree. It's a joke.
Number 5 Pittsburgh Penguins versus number 12 Montreal Canadiens.
So either Pittsburgh or Montreal gets a shot at left Frenier.
Hurricanes versus
Ridiculous.
Number 11 New York Rangers. Number 7 New York Islanders versus number 10 Florida Panthers.
Ooh, rivalry.
And
Islanders,
number
Florida.
8 Toronto Maple Leafs versus number 9 Columbus.
That'll be a good series too. These are good series. I'm not going to lie. They're great series. These are going to be fun series to watch. It's just for the integrity of the league, it's a little iffy. But we'll see on the draft lottery how that goes.
The St. Louis Blues, the Colorado Avalanche, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Dallas Stars. The qualifying round series matchups in the Western Conference are as follows.
I agree, Say. It'll be fun to watch extended playoffs.
Oilers versus number 12 Chicago Blackhawks.
Lacey Lynn, we don't know yet. They haven't said, but probably.
Nashville Predators versus number
Probably
11,
empty
Arizona
empty
Coyotes.
stadiums. So Edmonton, Chicago,
Number 7,
Nashville, Arizona.
Vancouver Canucks versus number 10
Vancouver, Minnesota.
Minnesota Wild. And number 8 Calgary Flames versus number 9 Winnipeg Jets.
You know, it sucks that this COVID really stripped us of Calgary, Edmonton. It's obviously not the worst thing this COVID-19 has done, but it's definitely one of the things it's done. Would have loved to see in the Battle of Alberta.
I've already told you it hasn't been, and I apologize for that. The draft lottery will determine which clubs make the first 3 selections in the 2020 NHL draft, and it will be conducted in 1 or 2 phases, depending upon the results of the various draws. The 7 clubs that did not resume play and the 8 qualifying round clubs that do not advance into the playoffs will enter the draft lottery.
Oh,
At the time
that's
of
a
the
joke.
first phase
That is a
draw,
joke, Gary.
we won't know which
Unbelievable. So you have a shot at making the playoffs
qualifying round.
and going to win the cup or getting left Frenier. It's your choice. Pittsburgh can get it. Habs can get it. But Ottawa gets screwed over again. Great job. Great job, Gary. Fantastic.
Phase 1 draws will be conducted on June 26th prior to the round robins and qualifying round.
So Bob McKenzie just said NHL draft lottery will be on Friday, June 26th. Numbers 1, 2, and 3 picks will be up for grabs for all 15 teams, same as the former lottery drafts from previous years. And basically what that means for Ottawa is they don't get to play games, other teams get to play games, and then they still have a shot at first, which makes absolutely no sense.
That club or the club to which that first round
It's the same like every other draft.
Gets that selection. If all 3 draws are won by non-resuming clubs, there will be no need for a phase 2. Should any of the 3 draws not be won by a non-resuming club, we will conduct a phase 2 before the conference quarterfinals. At that point, the assignment of the remaining top 3 selections will be determined through draws, including only the qualifying round clubs that fail to advance. For any and all phase 2 draws, all teams involved will have the same odds of winning. Once the top 3 selections are determined, all remaining clubs will be slotted in reverse order of their 2019.
Ottawa, Jeff, has a 25% chance if you add San Jose's pick.
The format was adopted
But
in order to maintain
at the same time,
distribution of
I believe there should be a
odds
2-format thing where Ottawa, Detroit through Buffalo, the top 7 teams for the draft lottery, get a separate draft lottery from the bottom 8 teams that lose in the play-in round, which is essentially the playoffs, which is my argument. You shouldn't be able to play the playoffs and then get a chance at first overall. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. There should be 2 separate lotteries. Because there should be a benefit for Ottawa losing out on games this year, and that should be it. That should be it. The teams that are playing playoff games shouldn't have the same odds as the teams that are not even playing games. It's a joke, in my opinion.
12.5% chance of winning, 1 in 8, which means each of the losing clubs in the
Catching up on the chat now while you guys
would
listen.
have, in effect, a 3% chance of winning the first overall pick. Obviously, these are extraordinary and unprecedented times.
Saif, it's essentially the same draft odds. So they think the worst they could do is 6. The San Jose's pick, I believe, 6 or 7, something like that.
You can find some element of this package
No problem, Pranav.
that you might prefer to be done differently. But we believe we have constructed an overall plan that includes all teams that, as a practical matter, might have had a chance.
If the winner, according to Bruce Garriock, if the winner of the top pick is from the group of Detroit, Ottawa, both picks, Los Angeles, Anaheim, New Jersey, Buffalo, they will get the top selection.
Will have run the postseason
So
that is unique to the NHL.
What does that mean? I can't really tell you. I'm sort of confused.
It is our goal
I'm a little confused.
that we will be able to resume play and award the Stanley Cup.
But Ottawa has 13.5 with the original pick and 11.5 with San Jose. Those are the odds, 25% chance at first, which is still pretty good. It is still pretty good. Don't get me wrong. It's still pretty good. And remember, once the announcement's over, I'll still be here. We can talk. We can talk for sure.
Players, coaches, support staff, and arena
Terry McGurran, I'm pretty sure,
We
yeah.
will not set dates, choose sites, or begin to play until we know it is appropriate and prudent and are approved to do so. As we seek some return to normalcy, this is an important day, particularly for NHL fans. Since March 12th, we have been hopeful and optimistic that by developing all options and alternatives, we could get to this point. I know I join sports fans everywhere when we say we cannot wait.
So the recap, draft's essentially the same, and the hockey should probably return mid to late July. To recap.
Presenting the most storied and coveted trophy in all of sports to the captain of the 2019-20 Stanley Cup champion. Thank you.
That's it.
I know there are still some
that's the
things to be decided, but I think I can say safely.
Gary is having an official interview with Tim and Sid. We'll stay on for this for sure, because we're going to get more detail in this as specific questions are asked. So we'll listen as well, and I'll answer your questions, of course. So please comment down your questions, and I'll get to them as fast as possible.
Return to play committee. You mentioned the players involved, just the process. I just want
I agree, Jeff. I agree.
What was it like working with them to get to this point?
Well, obviously, it's great to be with you, and there's light at the end of the tunnel, which is great for everybody. Not our first experience in dealing with players directly in the Players Association, but this was extraordinarily collaborative.
Ask your questions. Any questions, I'll ask. I'm pretty bored. We all are. So.
Was great. And we had a regular series of conference calls by phone. And for us, well, we had an idea of how we thought it was important to come back. We knew that health and safety had to be of paramount importance, and we made that clear to the players up front. And from a health standpoint, there was two aspects. One, COVID-19, obviously, and two,
Darren Rager just said there's been immediate negative, it looks like, by the way the tweet sounded, immediate reaction from clubs who don't love the draft lottery. It's obviously negative. I'm going to have to assume Ottawa and Detroit are in that bunch, because why would they like this at all? Stupid.
Concerned about history and tradition and the integrity of.
All right, let's take a look. Nick Susi, if Ottawa gets second and fourth, I take it. Yeah, but at the same time,
made it a terrific process, and
we shouldn't have to just be like, okay, Sens are not playing games, so they should be given a reward for being a bottom 7 team. Well, not a reward. Let me rephrase that. That's a terrible clip all over this. What it means, though, is that there should be 2 drafts. I have no problem with the way it is right now if there was 2 separate lotteries. The Senators, Detroit, these teams are terrible. They're not good enough to be in the play-in format. I get it. But why are these teams that are in the bubble in the play-in format? Why are these teams why can Pittsburgh get the first overall pick? I don't understand that. Why the hell does Pittsburgh get the first overall pick when they're shooting in the playoffs? For sure. It makes no sense. It's stupid. It's dumb. This plan is essentially fair if they did the 2 lottery format, in my opinion. But they're not. All 15 teams have a shot, and that's makes no sense, because this is not a regular year. So you can't just have the year like it's a regular year, because it's a 5-game play-in. It's not the last 10, 11 games of the regular season. So, like, you got to make it fair for everybody. This is one-sided to the teams that are mediocre, bubble, or contenders. For the teams that are trying to get back to that level through the draft, they got screwed over royally here. Royally. Let me get to the chat now.
Health and safety, paramount importance.
Jeff, top 3 would be fantastic, yes.
Testing without doing anything to disrupt medical needs. We need to be doing an unbelievable.
Nick is happy they didn't screw his Habs over.
Disrupt medical needs. We want to be in a place that doesn't have a lot of COVID-19. And
Gary, everywhere has a lot of COVID-19.
Mental issues we have to deal with.
That's fair too. Yeah.
When we move everybody to a hub city,
just annoying guys. Like, come on.
You can't live with like a quarantine.
Big episode today of Best of 7 podcast. Though Patrick Williams was a fantastic guest. An hour just talking, a lot of in-depth knowledge, and we went through the financials and economic stuff of that AHL. We even spoke about like the future of minor leagues, some in doubt. So stay tuned for that. It should be up at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Nick, you're right. And on top of that, New Jersey and Buffalo really get royally screwed over here because they just missed the cutoff for the top 24, and they have the worst odds out of the top 7 for the draft lottery. So New Jersey and Buffalo just got screwed over here. And they both had games at hand on Montreal. So if you're a Jersey or Buffalo fan, you are not happy right now.
I think I'm probably going to have to make in the next 3-4 weeks, and that's something that obviously players associate.
And we all know why they did the 24 teams instead of 20. It's because Chicago, Montreal are added, which is more revenue because of TV ratings. We know that. That is just a fact. Essentially, it just makes sense.
Open training facilities on voluntary.
With all the money they're losing, it would make sense that that's true, and I don't see why. I don't even think they would deny it, to be honest, if you ask them point blank. Well, they would, but you know what I mean.
It's going to evolve. The guys are going to let us know how they feel. They're going to work out. They're going to get back into shape. And then we're going to get an indication of how much more time they want before training camp, how much time they want for training camp. It would be one thing. And one of the meetings we had with the return.
Yeah, so Ottawa's guaranteed at least 5 and 6 instead of the 3 and 4 with the original idea that was thrown out there a couple weeks ago by insiders who really don't know jack all. They don't know anything. The insiders don't know anything. They know it as soon as it's announced, basically. All the if you go back to the old articles, all the speculation was complete horse crap. Like they did the same thing. It's always Toronto being reported, or they did the same thing like with the Carlson stuff, and with the Duchesne stuff, like with Ottawa, a lot of stupid stuff was thrown out there, and now same thing.
Like how far can you go?
We can go far. I'm not going to give you a hard.
Gary Bettman's not going to give you an official date, but he just said that they can push the next season back far to finish this one. So it's a clear mandate and priority to finish this year. Get a championship awarded this year, and to make this format work for this year. Nick, Pittsburgh does not have good odds at first overall. If they did, I would lose my mind. Why I'm upset, though, is it's not the fact that they have good chances. It's the fact that they have a chance when they have playoff games, okay? It makes no sense. They should not have a chance. That's the problem.
Tim, Sid, and Gary all working from home on this special edition of Tim and Sid.
Bettman just said we need to decide on hub cities within the next 3 to 4 weeks, which makes sense because they're expecting to play in the next 2 months, 2.5, 3 months. So that would make sense.
It's stated that the league recognizes that some players and personnel have family and household members that may fall in the vulnerable category.
Yeah.
What will be done for the player or the personnel who doesn't feel comfortable returning to play at whatever time you set it?
We're looking at an August season resumption. With the way they're talking, we're looking at August, without a doubt.
Have asthma, we're going to have to deal with that on a case-by-case basis. We expect players who are able-bodied and don't have those issues to be playing, but if there are special circumstances, we in the club involved, we're going to have to deal with that, and we will. Again, we're finding ourselves in an era where.
All right, let's take a look at the chat.
We've never had to deal with before, and so.
Yeah, Nick, I agree.
We're doing our.
Nick, you're firing off a bunch of key facts. It's not fair.
What we have to know, And then we'll
Matthew
make
Smith,
the
Ottawa getting
decisions
15th and
with the
16th
information.
overall picks. That is not possible. Unless, I guess, Islanders pick. Pranav, rest in peace, Sabres and Devils. Yep. Noah Luden, co-host of the Best of 7 podcast, said the one positive is that if the Islanders get upset by Florida, Ottawa gets another good pick. So let's go Florida. I've always liked Florida. Always have. Luongo, Arena's beautiful. Barkov is underrated. Well, used to be underrated. Now he's rated. But Huberdeau, Dennis Potvin's the commentator there, former SENS guy. So commentator. So
all the major leagues
go
in North
Panthers.
America, I assume,
Over the Islanders anyway. Let me make sure that's right though. Dennis Potvin. I'm pretty sure he's the color guy there, or whatever, or the play color guy. Yeah, he is. Okay.
You have to take it into account. You have to see what is doable. You have to see where there were problems. You have to see.
Oh, he retired last year. Oh, I didn't even know. That's too bad.
Huh. Really taking us off the mark.
Legendary voice, Dennis Potvin.
Our head of events, Steve Mayer, in contact.
What are the odds for a team like the Pens? I tweeted it. Go to @SensTalk_. Elliot Freeman tweeted it out. You'll be able to see the whole ratings. He's talking, so I don't want to read it out, but go ahead. It's on my Twitter. You can check it out right there. Elliot Freeman tweeted it out.
By the way, are you getting background noise or things?
Just a little. Maybe.
Anyone else hear that noise?
From today's news, Gary. Don't worry about nothing.
That's my 3-year-old grandson playing in the kitchen with his mom in pots and pans.
Gary's 3-year-old grandson's playing, making some weird noises in the background. Pranav, if the Pens lose to the Habs and they are in the draft lottery, yeah, for some reason, yeah. Pittsburgh does not have good odds to Lafreniere. The problem is they have odds and they shouldn't.
How do we learn about things? I went.
Let's go Hoff, LOL.
Sciences. I didn't.
No comment.
Biology and the sciences. I know more about.
Yeah, Noah's right, and I'm a Panthers fan, of course. Noah says. Yeah, I love the Panthers. I have no problem with them. I'm a Sens fan. That's my only team, but I'd love to see Panthers take down the Islanders without doubt.
Gary Bettman joining us here on Tim and Sid. Obviously, economics plays a factor in all this. And if I'm not mistaken, you had 189 games left
Jeff,
scheduled.
It looks like it's the same odds, but I think there's like a second lottery. I don't know. Everything's confusing, but there's no benefit to this for the bottom 7 teams. At the end of the day, there's no benefit whatsoever. That's the bottom line. No benefit. Every other team benefits except the Ottawa Senators, Detroit Red Wings, LA, Ottawa again, and then you got New Jersey, Detroit, and of course Buffalo.
This is more about the game and people trying to feel a sense of normalcy.
I'll probably keep this on. Live stream will probably stay on for the next 15, as long as we have good viewership and good comments coming in. If not, obviously we'll upload that podcast at 8:30.
It helps them heal from difficult times. But the money is not the economic driver here. I mean, yes,
I just realized some people might be using headphones. Sorry that I whistled. My apologies. Also, for people in Ottawa right now, can we just talk about how hot it is? Holy cow. Heat wave is insane. I can't breathe. I barely have asthma.
Economic future of any of your teams?
Well, we know our teams are the healthiest they've ever been. Our ownership is the best it's ever
Important.
been. Having said that, having an economic model, which right now we have no revenue coming in, and a large portion, not a majority of our revenues, but a large portion of our revenues comes from people in the building. But I'm hopeful that by next season, things will be back to normal and we'll be in a good place. And we'll deal with that as the time comes. But
come on, Tim, ask about Eugene. Come on, do it. I know you're savage like that.
Our owners, to a man or a woman, are probably not as wealthy as they were 3 months ago, because when you have this massive unemployment and businesses are shut down.
Gary said economically the league is fine though if the teams are fine, which I don't know.
How they reacted in the community with the players. In terms of food banks and donations and the like.
Jeff,
and even how our organization,
the Sens can't survive this kind of situation. Yes, they can. Because the National Hockey League will not allow any team to hurt their future based off of this. I'm sure there'll be a way to allocate money to those teams, sort of like in Canada, where the federal government, gives money to the provinces that are cheaper by getting the other provinces to chip in money for the broke provinces. That'll happen here with an NHL, I'd assume, where the rich teams like maybe Toronto, Montreal, etc., they might have to give a little bit of money to keep the other teams afloat. That happens in Canada. They happen in the National Hockey League as well. We'll see. And yes, no, Luden, you're right. We spoke to Patrick Williams. NHL and AHL teams are safe. There's no worry about any teams being shut down or anything. Without a doubt, everything's fine in that way. I can confirm to you there will be no team shutting down due to COVID-19. No teams will disband because of COVID-19. We got that confirmed basically by Patrick Williams when we were talking to him. There's no worry about that. No worry. Right now we got to worry about when hockey's returning. That's it.
Have you come up with a date when this has to be done by?
No, I mean, that week can be fluid.
Terry, I'd be shocked if 2021 season isn't partially derailed by another wave of COVID-19. I'd have to disagree because right now we're looking at the season resuming in sometime December to January, and a cure is supposed to be around that time. December to April is the time frame where we're expecting a vaccine or some type of treatment, hopefully anyways. Of course, we have no guarantee of finding one, but if we do, it's expected to be in that time frame. So I honestly think maybe the first month or two will be affected, limited fans in the stands, and of course safety, on the ice, and of course in the locker rooms, etc. But I think only 25% of the season will be affected. I think after that it'll be fine. I honestly do. Could be wrong, not a health expert, but I honestly think it'll be all right eventually. No, Luden, yeah, we spoke about this with Patrick Williams, so stay tuned for that. But the minor league teams are really going to get hit hard here, and those teams like CHL teams might fold because of this. That's definitely not out of the question. We can see some CHL teams fold. I don't expect it to happen, but it certainly could. A lot of those teams are funded by small communities and small businesses who are getting really hit hard right now because of the lockdown. So, in the small communities, put food on the table for your kids and family, or go to a minor league hockey game. Obviously, this could outweigh that one. So we may see some clubs close. I'm not going to lie. We may see some clubs close because we spoke about in the podcast, so stay tuned, but we may, without question. Gary's grandson in the background is hilarious. Much noise. Noah says Flint Firebirds for sure. They're a disaster. We'll see. Honestly, the owner has money. I'm pretty sure it really just comes down to. Wow, it sounds like a. Jeez, it sounds like a war zone back there, Gary. There's a bunch of noise. What's going on, bud? Comment below. Comment below. I'm trying to talk to y'all as much as possible. Because I don't do this often. I don't do live streams often, and when I do, it's fun to do. We may start doing some more. I always say that, but we may. Because, season's returning. And, I like interacting with y'all. But once again, different circumstances right now. With the National Hockey League announcing the return to play, I understand why there's more than usual. We had like 40 or 50 before. I remember actually yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of Game 7 versus Pittsburgh. And I remember I was here in this very spot with over 1,000 people watching. So that was fun. These live streams can be fun. Gary Bettman's done with Tim and Sid. We're going to lower that. We're going to lower that now. All right. So I'm going to go on. I'll stay on for like the next 5-10 minutes. If there's comments, so fire your questions away about any topic, anything, and I'll likely respond. I'll be here for another 5-10. And then from there, I'll see you later tonight at 8:30. But once again, I'll be on for another 5-10. I'll be on until like at least 5:10, 5:15.
Listening on the Sportsnet Radio Network. He is Tim McCall. I am Sid Cixero. Obviously, we knew one day in our careers we'd be talking to the commissioner of the NHL from our basements. That time has passed. We could check that one off, Tim. The big announcement today, the playoff format has been kind of agreed to.
The draft lottery is very, very confusing, but
those discussions between the PA and the league still going on.
Yeah. Also, if the Sens get like 5th or 6th, they're definitely taking Jake Sanderson because Drysdale will probably be gone. And Sens Army just tweeted that out, Paul. There we go. Great minds think alike. Comments. Perfect. Jeff Myra, do you think the 67s will be fine? Yeah. OSEG is in trouble right now for sure. With the Ottawa Red Blacks, with the CFL being in a lot of financial issues, with the Ottawa Red Blacks being a part of OSEG, they're in a problem. They have issues. However, OSEG is funded by some wealthy people, and I honestly believe that they'll be okay, especially when they're in such a large market like Ottawa. Ottawa is okay. You got to remember, Ottawa is the nation's capital of Canada. It's a government town. So that means there's small businesses are shutting down, and I really wish they open soon, social distancing, but let's open up small businesses so, these people can pay for their mortgage, food, etc. Everything's safe, of course. Make sure it's safe. But these small businesses are getting hit hard. Luckily, in Canada, majority of employees here are government workers, however. So we're not going to have that issue, and there's going to be money going back into the teams when the teams come back. You can take a look at a city like Winnipeg, where I don't know what the economic situation is in Winnipeg, but let's just say, for example, a lot of it is middle-class small businesses, right? If these businesses don't open, that could affect Winnipeg. That could affect the Manitoba Moose, for example. It won't. Like I just said, the NHL and the AHL are fine, but that's an example, right? The 67s, however, they're in a big city. There's no worries about the economic situation in Ottawa because it's government. Everyone's being paid still. But for a team like, I don't know, like some small QMJHL team like Cape Breton, I'd be scared if I'm the owner of Cape Breton. You're definitely not Mark Cuban, and you don't have the fan base to support you after a huge crisis and pandemic like this, right? So honestly, I'm concerned for other CHL teams, but not for the 67s. Best prospect on the B-Sens in your opinion? Well, wow. The one that gets me most excited is either Josh Norris or Drake Batherson. I watched both live, and Batherson is just another league of his own. And Josh Norris reminded me of Jason Spezza in some ways, just his skating and just athleticism and skill. That's not a comparison. I'm just saying it reminds me of the way they play. So those two really get me excited. Talent-wise, it's probably Brandstrom. He's probably the best prospect. But right now, I'd probably give it to Batherson. But Formanton as well should be thrown in there. Jeff Myra. Jeff Hunt left the CFL and OHL franchises. I believe he's still part of OSEG, which would help the CFL and OHL franchises financially. And on top of that, he left only to help out. It was either the rugby team or the new soccer team. I forget. But yeah, I believe he's still part of OSEG.
And we are 15 steps, but there is some groundwork being laid.
Comment down more questions. I'll answer.
Absolutely. As evidenced by the Bundesliga game, some of you may have just seen here on Sportsnet between Leverkusen and Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg looks right.
Yeah, Saif Ali Khan. Branson looks real good. If you go after this, if you go to what do you call it? After this live stream, if you go to my Belleville Sanders versus Toronto Marlies video, I showed a beautiful goal from Brandstrom, toe drag bar down. Brandstrom looks really good for sure.
Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Pittsburgh, Toronto, and Vancouver are among those in the running to be the two hub cities.
What are you looking for? You're looking for broadcast space. You're looking for multiple rinks, practice facilities, hotels, accommodations, max 50 per team. I'm trying to do the math in my head, Tim. I don't know if that includes family members. That's unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to ask Gary Bettman that, but maybe Donald Fear, executive director of NHLPA, can help us with that. He'll be joining us at the bottom part.
Jeff Myra, wouldn't it be smarter to just freeze the teams out of the league until they were financially stable instead of disbanding junior teams with history? Can you rephrase that question? In the CHL, the issue is there's no large TV deals. There's no corporate sponsorships and deals such as like Toronto, like the whole first 100 section in Toronto is corporate. CHL doesn't have that. It's local, like I just said, local communities, middle-class people looking to go for a family event. And these teams are gonna get hit hard, without a doubt. They're gonna get hit hard, unfortunately.
team outside the bottom 7.
Jeff, I don't think other CFL teams could financially help CHL teams because there's just not that much cash flow going in right now. Unlike these billionaires that own the NHL teams, there's no billionaire owning an OHL team, I don't believe. So it's a little different, and I hope I'm wrong, but honestly, the financials for the CHL will definitely be elaborate. It'll be very confusing, and it'll be tough.
And move into the top 3. Are the odds it's going to happen? Probably not. But we've seen crazy things at times in sports lottery history, so you never know.
So let me ask you this, and it's very convoluted, and as Sid was attempting to describe it, I was leafing through my notes.
Makes sense. All right. Any other questions before we wrap this up?
The entire process would be if someone outside the top 7 won the initial draw, which will be held prior to the qualifying round on Friday.
Also, wouldn't it be smart to consider these other teams who aren't playing as hub cities? Please rephrase that, Jeff. Maybe I'm just getting confused. Is it safe, I mean? Once again, Jeff and Saif, please reword your questions. I'm a little confused. I would love to answer them, though.
You're still pretty good with the way this breaks down, even though it includes the losers of that opening round.
Just so we're clear, the odds did not change for the SENS in any way, shape, or form. 13.5% chance with the second overall pick to get the first. They have an 11.5% chance with that third overall pick that they got in the Eric Carlson deal. And as Tim said, like the best odds of any of those 8 teams that lose in the play-in round is 6%. So that's it's probably not going to happen. You probably won't need a second phase to that lottery.
Since pick 5th and 6th, who would I take? I don't know. It depends who's on the board. Let's assume Laugh, Byfield, Stutzel, Drysdale are gone. I don't know if I wouldn't want to do this, but I expect one of Lucas Raymond, Marco Rossi getting taken, and then probably Jake Sanderson. That's probably what I think Ottawa does. They like to get the defenseman, and they'll get one of those top forwards. I probably put my money on Lucas Raymond over Marco Rossi. 5th. The guy has his incredible talent. Can definitely go in the top 4. He could go 4th, but I definitely see him going 5th to Ottawa. And 6th, it'd either be Jake Sanderson or another, maybe Mark Rossi, but they're probably going to take a defenseman and a forward because I've heard that they're really keen on Anderson. Or Sanderson, pardon me, not Anderson.
I don't know how you feel about this. Now, you want to get in games. You don't want to go into that first round cold with the team you're facing having just played a best of 5. If it is a best of 5, which they haven't decided that either. But I can't anticipate there are some teams at the top of each conference that are completely satisfied with how that goes. Do I have a better idea for that sitting here right now? No, I don't. But it still can't.
Jeff, you're right. It would be beneficial for these teams that are not playing to host these playoff teams. However, there's a lot of, what do you call it? There's a lot of that plays into this, the financials, of course, the regional restrictions on public health and just the amount of hotel space. I think Ottawa would be actually a great spot. You got a Canadian Tire Center with a lot of space. You got all the Sensplex arenas. So there's multiple arenas for teams to practice in, a bunch of hotels. Ottawa would be great, but I get why they're not doing it here. The arena's far, a lot of traveling. I get it. It's too spaced out. So I'm going to call it here. Thank you so much for watching tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Best of 7 Podcast, Episode 10 with Patrick Williams. Stay tuned for that. And, of course, thank you so much for watching. So watch that episode tonight. Next week, we may have Urinating Tree join the show. Of course, follow me on Twitter at @SensTalk_. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this stream. And make sure to follow me on Twitter at SensTalk_. SeatGeek.com. SensTalk is the code. You'll save $20 once you can buy tickets again. So Jeff, Saif, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Noah, thanks for moderating. And I'll see y'all in the next stream, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, episode 10 of the Best of 7 Podcast with Patrick Williams, the top AHL reporter, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, Apple, and of course here on YouTube. I will see y'all then. Thank you all for watching. Go Sens go. And remember to stay safe, stay home, and stay healthy. See y'all soon.